Tad is an archaeologist whose dream is to show the world his discoveries. While doing his searches with his team in a cave in Mexico, he finds a strange button on the wall and tells his team members about it. They pay no attention to him and tell him to go back to cleaning the brushes. Tad presses the button to prove to them he's not joking. Immediately after pressing it, a chamber opens on the floor where he's standing and he falls straight into it, together with his dog, Jeff. Beneath the cave, Tad finds an Egyptian sarcophagus and right before his eyes, the chains holding it raises it upwards and disappears into the dark. There and then, the whole place starts falling apart. Sarah, Tad's girlfriend, arrives just in time and saves them. Ryu, the leader of the team, calls Tad a dumbhead for ruining their plan. Tad tries to explain himself and the Egyptian sarcophagus he saw down there, but he shuts him up and kicks him out the team. Sarah encourages Tad everything will be fine and tells him she believes him. She even proposes to go with him to Chicago, but he tells her to stay with the team. Tad sees Jeff, his dog, holding onto a pendant they found in the cave. When he tries taking it from him, he resists and swallows it. A man observes all what happened and calls Victoria Moon, a lady who hosts shows about spirits, and tells her all about it. Jeff spits out the pendant when they get to Chicago. When Tad gets to his apartment, the first person he meets is his landlady, who angrily complains about the noise that comes out of his room every night. When he finally gets into his room, he is dumbfounded to see his room crowded with all sorts of appliances, toys, machines and gadgets. He hears some strange noise coming from the bathroom and slowly walks into it. When he draws the curtains, he finds his friend Mummy having a bath with a superhero mask on. Mummy quickly shows Tad all the cool stuff he bought with his credit card while he was away. Tad doesn't show any interest in them because Mummy just spent his life savings buying things he didn't really need. He then breaks the news to Mummy about his dismissal from the archaeologist team. In Mexico, Ryu and his team dig into the cave and bring out the Egyptian sarcophagus. Sarah tells Ryu that this is Tad's discovery, but he says it's his and tells her to forget about Tad. One day after Tad has attended class, he receives a call from Victoria, who tells him to jump into the car parked in front of him. He does so and it takes him to Victoria's abode. She makes a lengthy introduction about herself and tells him the reason for summoning him. Years ago, an emerald tablet which controlled magic was created. One day, a man tried to use the tablet's power to overthrow the pharaoh, so he created an enchantment to bring out all the beasts of the underworld. Unfortunately, the pharaoh found out about his plan and hid the emerald tablet so that no one could use its power again. Years later, Napoleon Bonaparte found it, but its power was too strong for him to keep, so he returned it to its hideout, but Dominique, his archaeologist, left behind an engraving which led to the tablet. Victoria thinks the engraving that leads to his tablet is in his old office, so she wants Tad to help her find it using the pendant his Jeff took. Victoria then shows Tad Dominique's personal diary and the fragment that started shining 3 days ago because of the sarcophagus he found in Mexico. Tad feels it is a new opportunity for him to show the world his capabilities, so he accepts to help her. When he gets home and turns his television on, he boils in anger when Ryu tells the world he found the sarcophagus. When he tells Sarah it's his finding and what Victoria told him, Sarah tells him not to listen to anything she says because she knows her better. When night falls, Tad goes to the faculty where they kept the sarcophagus and opened it up with the pendant. Mummy shows up with Jeff and Beltsoni, saying he couldn't let this adventure pass him by. Tad doesn't like that he came, but says nothing and just warns him not to touch anything. Mummy does the opposite. He unlocks a little mummy trapped in the sarcophagus and unleashes the ancient spell which curses him. Beltsoni and Jeff become one. Sometimes with Beltsoni's head and Jeff's body, and other times too with Jeff's head and Beltsoni's body. Mummy also turns into an underworld creature when he is angered. Seeing his new body, he runs around and scatters everything, putting Tad into trouble, but they leave before the police arrive. Tad then decides to go to Paris to look for the emerald tablet to prove to Ryu and the others he didn't destroy the place on purpose. With the phone Mummy bought, he searches for the location of Dominique's office and they head straight to Paris in a box because Tad has no money left in his account. At the faculty, the police find Tad's bag and from there he becomes the suspect. Sarah rushes out to find Tad, but she bumps into Victoria, her old friend whose behavior changed, and they stop being friends. But Victoria gets into her car anyways because she says she knows where Tad is. Victoria tells Sarah Tad is in Paris and she angrily gets out of the car, blaming her for manipulating Tad into doing stuff. At the faculty, the police also find a video Mummy had posted, telling the whole world he's going on an adventure in the Louvre Museum in Paris. So they also decide to go there. Tad and his friends make it to the museum. Tad finds the spot where Dominique's office was. He looks beneath the statue and finds a path leading to his office. Mummy breaks part of the statue to make an opening for them to go through and takes another picture to upload onto his page. When they get to the office, they find Queen Archaeologist. She was brought to life centuries ago through a spell and later found by Dominique, who shut her up in his office till now. Tad asks for her help in finding the Emerald Tablet, and she says she'll only do that on one condition, and that is they must make her famous and exhibit her in the museum. The police arrive at that exact moment and they escape through a passageway Dominique had built. The police follow them everywhere until they eventually lose them. Archaeologist then tells them about where there is a map that will help them find the tablet, but first, they have to get a key in Cataracts of the Nile, in Egypt. To access that map, Mummy wastes no time and uploads their next adventure. Tad snatches the phone from him and throws it away because he's feeding the police information. Mummy gets angry and transforms into an underworld creature. Archaeologist reveals that those creatures can only calm down when they are entertained. So she finds his toy chicken and gives it to him. He plays with it and transforms back into Mummy. Archaeologist again tells Tad that the curse will become permanent if it's not broken soon, and with the Emerald Tablet he will be able to break it. The police find Mummy's post about their new adventure to Egypt and again they go after them. Victoria follows Sarah into Dominique's office and they find the map that leads to the tablet, hidden under his desk. Sarah reaches Ryu so that he can help them read the map and get to the place. Tad and his friends, together with Archaeologist, get to the cave where the key lies. Tad enters alone, finds a stone shaped in a prism form. Ryu, Sarah and Victoria together with Ryu's team also follow the map and find the cave where the tablet is hidden. The police find Tad and his friends and try to lure him into coming with them, but he hears it through the megaphone.
The crook is gonna rot in jail.
He intentionally makes Mummy angry so that he can transform into a creature and scare them. They quickly jump on his back and he escapes with them. Sarah and Victoria enter the cave, but they find no signs of the tablet, so they turn to leave. As they get closer to the tablet, Mummy becomes weak and falls to the ground. They then continue their journey on foot and arrive at the cave. They approach Ryu and the others dressed in disguise. Mummy wraps Archaeologist in a carpet and presents it to them. While they concentrate on Archaeologist, Tad sneaks into the cave, but Victoria sees him. Tad finds Sarah when he gets into the cave and she shows him where to insert the key. When he does, the rock grows and brings out an inscription of where the tablet is. Underneath the Great Pyramid, Victoria watches everything and decides to be the first to find it and possess all its power. Tad comes out telling Ryu he knows where the Emerald Tablet is, but they don't take him seriously and call the police to come for him. Sarah comes in and tells them it's true, so they all go in to see for themselves. They were stunned by what they saw. Tad tells them they have to start moving, but Ryu says he is still a danger to archaeology and the police will come for him in no time. Just then, Victoria appears with her bodyguard and closes the entrance of the cave. Wasting no time, she hops on a motor and starts her journey to find the pyramid. Tad and the others remove the rocks gradually and find light only to see the police waiting to take them away. The police finally pack them behind a car and drive them away. Tad takes Mummy's chicken from him so that he can transform and rescue them. He roars loud and scares the others away. He becomes weak afterwards and falls behind Tad's car. Archaeologist refuses to go with them because the police said they will be taking her to Cairo to display her in the museum. So Tad goes with Sarah to break Mummy's curse. When they get to the pyramid, Victoria unleashes the power of the tablet and makes Mummy transform fully. Mummy doesn't recognize any of his people and attacks all of them. Archaeologist shows up with his chicken to calm him down, but he doesn't recognize that also and runs after her. Tad and Sarah push a pillar to block Mummy's way. Mummy falls and his tail pushes Victoria to the ground. Tad quickly gets hold of the tablet and throws it into the pit full of the underworld creatures. The tablet vanishes and transforms Mummy, Jeff and Beltsoni back. They find their way out of the pyramid and hug each other. Ryu and his team find them and offer Tad to join his team so that they can find the treasure of King Pakal. Tad rejects his offer and introduces his new team to him. He congratulates them and they drive away. The end.